Hello, Internet. How are we this evening? Sorry, I tried to I tried to drink some of my drink right before the show started. Tried to time it right. I was off by a couple seconds, so I apologize, everybody. Scarlett wants to say hi to you. Is everybody having a Merry Christmas already? It's already Christmas. Did you know that? Are you? Oh no. I don't want you to jump up. You guys, I screwed up again. I broke my dog. She hurt it again. She hurt her leg again. She's limping around, and yeah, I just forgot. I'm supposed to keep her inside all the time right now. B says, "Oh, how you doing? Nice to see you." I'm supposed to keep her inside all the time right now because I'm pretty sure she has a torn ACL, like a slight tear. Because whenever she goes really hard, she's limping the next day, and I've been just keeping her inside, just trying to make her take it easy, and she's going insane because of that. But I forgot the other day, and I left her here all day, and yeah, actually I had to go to a funeral, but yeah, so I left her here all day, and I put her outside. I forgot to keep her inside. And she was apparently running all over the place because she was limping when I got home. Enough about my dog. I'm sorry. I had to tell you guys. She can't jump up here and say hi anymore. That was a super long-winded way of me saying that. So Scarlett can't say hi to you guys for a bit. I'll maybe have to change the camera angle. All right. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a fantastic evening. I had an interesting day, and I'm really excited now because you guys are freaking amazing. So I went down to the courthouse today, just sort of like, all right, here's the deal. Here's my situation. So, they have the whole signatures in lieu of filing fee thing. So if you can come up with enough signatures to each signature offsets your filing fee. It's like 61 cents per signature that you get. Well, I started the signature process pretty late, and they don't give you I don't think they give you a super long time to get them anyway, but it would have ended up being, I think like 2,000 signatures around there, So if I had enough time, probably could have done it, but I didn't. And basically I had to come up with $1,200 or I couldn't run. And there's this whole, if you raise more than $2,000 towards your campaign, you have to open up a bank account. You have to get a tax thing. The bank account has to be specifically for all your campaign stuff. You have to get a tax ID thing. You have to create a website that all your campaign donations have to go through a specific website. You can't just like use PayPal or whatever, you can't just go all willy-nilly, because you have to get specific information from every single one of your contributors, because all this stuff's on the record. So filing fee, it's below $2,000, and as the filing fee is pre-campaign, I can't get a response from the people that could tell me if it's okay. So I wasn't going to make it on the ballot if I couldn't. So that's what I did. I raised the money, and it's just for the filing fee. It's not for the campaign. And if I get in trouble for that, well, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I had to get on the ballot, guys. I just sort of feel like I'm supposed to do this, especially since I just can't seem to. I could go get a job at whatever, but I got side work and stuff that I can do that's like getting me by, and I'm living off my savings. And, you guys that support the show have been keeping me afloat and stuff, so it doesn't really make sense for me to go take a, job at the Home Depot I was making $110,000 a year. It's expensive here in California. So I can't just go take a super low paying job, but I had a job that was going to pay enough. I mean, not really. It's like $60,000 a year, which, if you guys know, around here in California is nothing. And, my rent's just under $2,000, which is great. Anyway, I'm doing this to get a job. California state senator. Okay, we got a job to do. We have to fix California. There's a lot of things that need to be done, and it's the opposite of everything they've been doing. Well, I don't have a job. California state senator pays $127,000 a year. It's more than I've ever made in my life. I've never made that amount. This sounds like a really good job. Well, I mean, It's like a year-long job interview. In the process of it, I might have to go live out of my car. You guys know my German Shepherd's going to have to go down soon. My lab went down a few months ago. So it'll just be me and my pit bull, and I'll finally be in a position where I can actually do that if I had to. You know, I couldn't do that before. So I could put all my crap in storage. I think you guys see where I'm going with this. I had something that I thought was going to work out. I don't know if I don't know. The next year is really up in the air what I'm going to do. Me speaking loudly on the internet does not help my job prospects, if you will. And I love doing what I'm doing. I love being on Twitter Spaces, finding what's trending, finding what's going on every single day, going down all the rabbit holes and trying to tell you guys what's going on. This is my job now. I love doing that. Fortunately, it's not exactly paying the bills, but that's okay. This is what it will eventually, I think, because I'm good at it. But I could be a senator instead and fix California. Well, no, I can't. I can't fix California by myself. We know that. But I could do everything I can to point at all the stuff that I think is going wrong. And there's a whole hell of a lot of it. We'll get into one of the things with the biolab out of Reedley, California. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, whole point is I raised the filing fee. I'll be paying it on Monday. It's go time, I guess. I was down at when I was down at the courthouse, I was standing in line. John Laird was right there in front of me doing all his stuff. The other thing too, so there's this a statement that you can create as a candidate. Casey Martin, how you doing? Nice to see you. There's a 2,500 word statement that you can make. That's basically what your platform is, and you could submit it to the county clerk, and that will go out on like the newsletters but you have to submit it to each county clerk that are within your district. There's lots of districts or lots of counties within District 17. Santa Cruz County alone is $5,000 to do that. So on top of the filing fee, so just that right there, if you don't get the signatures in lieu, which I didn't. So that's $6,200 right there. Just that. And that's just that county. So John Laird's going to get on all of them. So it's already a leg up, it's just funny because I've never done this before. So I'm really starting to see how it is it's really stacked against. They do not want the greasy, dirty, unwashed in there. They do not want blue collar people getting in there, figuring out how the system works. Because that's really all it is. Just get started and go figure out how it works. These people are not rocket scientists. And the funny thing is, John Laird just standing there is like, has anybody, basically, am I up against anybody else? The county clerk sees me standing behind him, and he remembered me. I'm a giant. I'm 6'6", so he remembers me. And, I'm a dork, so I'm easy to remember. But he just sort of glances at me and smirks, and I hadn't officially finished doing my stuff yet. So he was just like, well, somebody picked up their stuff and they haven't come back to return it yet. It was great. It was gold. So yeah, that happened today. I'll be back down there on Monday. I don't know if there will be a primary. If it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who else is running. I'll find out a lot more next week. But I got the filing fee. I'm going for it. I got the domain name for my website. I started building it. I suck. I've never built a website before. I'm getting some help with that coming up. Yeah, things are happening. So that's sort of where I'm at, with the California State Senate stuff. It is a pie in the sky, super long shot, but thanks, Rochelle. I appreciate it. Nice to see you. Yeah, I might as well try. I really do have nothing left to lose at this point. Everything is up in the air right now. So, as long as I keep doing, as long as I keep doing what I think is the right thing and working my hardest at it every day, and that's what I've been doing, putting all this stuff into it, and just trying, just being honest. The coaching thing was just great for me. Trying to be a good member of my community, doing regular shout outs to the big man. all this stuff has just sort of been guiding me in a direction. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but this is what I'm doing. I know I sound like a nutbag, but this is what I'm doing. So I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know what's going to work out, but yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to go for California State Senate, and we'll see what happens. If I get on the ballot, and it's just me and John Laird, I'm not changing nothing on the internet either. You guys expect me to chill out, stop talking shit to people? It's not going to happen. I'm not changing a thing. I'm not running as a politician. All the rules are out the window. They broke everything in 2020. Everything is out the window. Look how they've behaved. Look what they have done to California. Crime is legal. It's legal. Look what's happening in retail stores. Look what's happening with carjackings. Look what's happening with car break-ins. Look what's happening with open air drug dealing and drug use. It's madness. It's absolute madness. All this stuff's allowed and it needs to stop. So yeah, this is all I can think to do. So yeah, I'm going to keep talking shit too. Okay. So let's get into some Readly Biolab stuff. I'm sure you guys heard about this stuff, right? Yeah, I'm sure you guys had. So we went over this, I don't know. God, it's been like 3-4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago by now. There was, they're saying a meter maid now, but I'm hearing conflicting stories of who it was. It was some sort of inspector. And sorry, guys. Wait a minute. Am I messing up here? Yeah, I think I am. Sorry. Sorry, folks. Totally blown it. Gave you the wrong screen. All right. So out in Readly, California, which is near Fresno, if you guys know the area, there was a yeah, Casey Martin knows what's up. There was I believe it was either a meter maid or like some sort of building inspector, and she saw a garden hose going into like a random commercial building. She's like, well, this is funny. And she followed it. And she saw guys in lab coats in this very nefarious looking commercial setting, Chinese men doing strange stuff. And this turned out to be a biolab. This turned out to be a biolab that was very poorly maintained. And it had tons of horrible stuff in it. And we first started hearing about it, we heard that it got funding from California. Well, we've learned all sorts of stuff. Let's listen to who is this guy? This is Dr. Neil Dunn, a Republican from Florida. So I don't know who he is. And he's talking to the new CDC director. What's her name? Cohen? Her name Rochelle Walensky? I can't remember her name, the previous CDC director. Not her. This lady he's questioning. And just listen to all the stuff that came out of this lab that was there. And this is a CCP biolab in, let's just call it Fresno, just because everybody knows. Well, not everybody. People know Fresno more. It's right outside Fresno, California. And the only reason they found it is because someone found a garden hose running into the building that looked conspicuous. So listen to all the stuff they found at this lab. This really is insane, and it keeps getting crazier. So we'll go.
Chairman Dr. Cohen, I appreciate you being here today. In addition to being a member of the Energy Commerce Committee, I serve on the Select Committee on China. The Select Committee recently published a bombshell bipartisan report. You're aware of it. You've said it on the illegal biolab that was discovered in Readly, California. This warehouse was located in the center of a small town just across the street from an elementary school and a block down from the city hall. The clandestine, they're calling it a biolab, was a disaster waiting to happen. The CDC's response, or rather the lack of response clearly endangered millions of Americans. There were a couple of things that really stood out to me. The first is that the CDC's Select Agent Program completely failed the people of Ridley, California. The CDC literally refused. They did not respond when they were requested. They responded months later, and only when Congressman Costa made that request to come to the town and assess the situation. The discovery, I remind you, was made by a housing code inspector who was tracing a garden hose that went in a window. That's how this was found. It took a phone call from Costa to get there finally. Once the CDC arrived, months after the first request, the investigation he conducted was completely unprofessional and inadequate. And I say that as a professional in the field. The CDC didn't test one vial, even the ones that were labeled tuberculosis, SARS-CoV-2, and Ebola. An entire refrigerator labeled Ebola. That is a select federal agent, by the way.
Okay, guys, are you guys starting to see the? And, all right, when you hear her response too, that's the craziest. It's almost exactly what you'd expect it to be. What up, Acorps? So just really serious biological agents being found in this Chinese CCP biolab. And let's just talk about the lab for now, what they found in the lab, because it gets worse after the lab.
And HIV was there. This facility is completely unlicensed warehouse, no licensing whatsoever. Over 20 potential pathogens, 1,000 transgenic mice, humanized. There were 0 isolation facilities that would be necessary to either legally or safely handle these agents. And perhaps most egregious and simple-minded, the agency didn't even bother to translate the Chinese labels. There were some vials that had only Chinese labels. Didn't even ask for a translation on this. Amazing.
Yeah, Terry Wallace. So yeah, what he's getting at, the CDC is acting crazy. So it seemed like nobody wanted to look at this. When people started saying like, hey, guys, there's like this, Chinese biolab over here in Ridley, California. You'd think this would be crazy news. That should just you guys remember, talking about how we might have had biolabs in Ukraine, the whole biolabs thing, were we contributing to gain of function stuff at the lab in China, in Wuhan? Biolabs. That's what this was. Run by China in Ridley, California. And nobody on the news is talking about it. It's you guys, what? And everybody's like, dope-de-dee, nothing to see here. Yeah, it's just, okay, let's listen to the CDC. Well, actually, I'm sorry, Mr. Dunn here isn't quite finished talking about the madness that was found at this lab.
When local officials started to dispose of these materials, they asked CDC what to do with the Ebola. Again, a federal select agent. And a CDC branch chief, I have these emails I'd like to submit for the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. CDC branch chief belatedly responded saying, we don't see an urgent need to test these samples at the moment. Most of the material we identified was not considered a serious threat to public health. HIV, SARS-CoV-2, hepatitis, malaria, and Ebola, not considered a serious threat to public health. But, the conclusion made by the experts at CDC that a refrigerator labeled Ebola was unlikely to contain Ebola. And you look at the totality of this situation, it reads like a nightmare, a horror story. In what world is this okay? How do you expect the American people to take our public health institutions seriously when this is their reaction to a very real situation? The CDC should not ignore pleas from local public health. And by the way, the California Public Health Service asked them to sample this stuff too. The CDC should test substances if requested by local governments. Surely that meets a threshold test. And I'd like you to explain, is the CDC supposed to be the first line of defense for human infection agents in the United States?
Well, thank you, Congressman, for the opportunity to respond. There were a number of inaccuracies in that report. And so I want to make sure you know that when we were asked and invited by the leaders of that investigation, FBI, FDA, state and local officials, we did deploy. We did look at, we were there for a 2.5-day investigation, and we did not see any evidence of select agents. Not only did we look at all of the paperwork, the vials, the freezers.
Let me, just
also
because we're running out of time, let me reclaim it. Yes, they responded, but they did not respond when they were first requested. They responded months later.
So
I
that's,
mean, that
Okay, so they delay super long before they even want to go out there, and then they go out there. They do this 2-day intensive investigation. They don't find any Ebola, any traces of Ebola, and then the people from California or whoever else, California Health, whatever you just said, are like, "Hey, what about the Ebola? What do you guys want us to do with the Ebola?" And they're like, "What do you mean? What Ebola? We didn't see any Ebola. There's no Ebola there." And she's like, "Well, we didn't see any Ebola. There must not be any Ebola."
and we have that on. I mean, we had that examined by the FBI. Came to our committee and told us that. That's who we got that information from. If you have better information than the FBI, you need to let us know.
great. We would be happy to share the more about the timeline. But when we were asked, we did deploy no select agents on site there, and we
How
continue.
do you know you didn't test for anything?
Well, so right, this is where our experts did a 2.5-day review. I want to address what you were talking about related to Ebola. When we heard after the fact that someone said something was labeled Ebola, we took 300 pictures. We did not see one
It
bit
was
of
on the
evidence
front of a
related to that.
refrigerator.
We didn't see that. We asked folks to say, do you have a picture of that? Could we validate that for someone else? No one could validate that for us. So
We
did
just
not-
blow off the California Public Health Department and say, "Oh, we don't believe it." Obviously my time is expired, Mr. Chairman. I have to tell you though, in my professional career in biological warfare, I have never seen anything like this. By the way, the worst concern I have, this may not be the only one. This is one that a housing code inspector found. Let's marshal all the housing code inspectors in the country. Turn them loose to find these things.
I appreciate the gentleman's patience. Gentleman's time is up.
Madness. All right, sorry. My dog was freaking out. Oh, she got her toy and she's flipping it all over the place. She's gonna knock something over. I'm sorry. How insane is that? So that's the same lady that I don't know if you guys remember Jay. How do I say that? Can you spell it out for me? Like phonetically? I'm gonna try it. Jahabin? Hey all. I think that's how you say it. I'm doing my best over here. So that lady, that's the same before she became CDC director. I can't remember what state she was in charge of the health, whatever. But there's a video of her just how they decided COVID policy. She called one of her other health colleagues and was like, "Hey, are you guys doing this in regards to masking?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're doing this over here." She's like, "Okay, yeah, we're going to do that too." That's the science that they had behind it. This lady's she's okay. So she basically he says the refrigerator is labeled with Ebola on the front. And they're like, "Well, we didn't see it. So, we didn't test for it." And yep, must not have been there, basically. And just a bunch of gaslighting from her. So, well, so James O'Keefe did a little bit of an investigation into this. And, well, I can't show this whole video because it's like 25 minutes. But basically so he's with OMG now. This is a new company, OMG, with James O'Keefe. And I think you guys should go check out this video. But he got an undercover to go on a Tinder date like he's always done. And it was what aide? A staffer. It was a staffer for Jim Costa. He's a congressman, right? California congressman, Jim Costa. Well, we're going to find out in a minute here. And some pretty damning stuff. So I'll play some of the video, but they knew about the lab like before it came out. Apparently, they knew about the lab leak before it came out. The people connected to the lab, one of the guys that was working there is on the run from Canada because he has some sort of fraud of like millions of dollars they're trying to get him with. Oh, hold on, guys. My German Shepherd's having a problem. Stand by. Cheetah, you okay? What's going on? You okay? You want to get up? You go potty? Try to go. You all right? All right. Well, that was interesting. Sorry, guys. You know how we do it around here. If my senior German Shepherd she had to go outside, and she started. Yeah. Well, I had to let her out. I'm gonna have to get back up in a minute here too to let her back in. Well, so where was I? The dude that was one of the dudes that was at the lab he's on the run from Canada for millions of dollars, and he is directly. He straight up said he's connected with the CCP. Yes, our government is so corrupt, Casey Martin. So he's directly connected with the CCP. He admitted to it. Said he's doing work. There's a recording, I guess, of him saying that he's working like on behalf of the CCP, and he's getting funding and being protected by this lawyer out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Michael Lynn. That it keeps getting more nefarious. And so Jim Acosta, the staffer for Jim Costa, the staffer says that, so Jim Costa looks into this and he's doing like this investigation, I guess, his internal thing. And he releases this 40-page document about the whole Reedley lab thing. And, it just happens so that he releases this document on the exact same day that Xi Jinping arrived in San Francisco to meet with Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden. So that's interesting. And I won't even play I don't even really need to play much of this James O'Keefe video. It's a 25-minute video, but you guys should watch it. There's a lot of information in there, a lot that I just glossed over. But I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. It's this guy so it's Chinese biolab. There's Ebola there. There's all sorts of crazy agents there. The guy that is running it, looks like he's running it, is on the run from Canada for millions of dollars. He's connected to the CCP. He's getting funding and being protected by this lawyer out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, Las Vegas, Nevada. And Jim Costa, who's doing this investigation. And it seems like everybody's like super reluctant to touch this. Nobody wants to touch it. And Jim Costa, drags his feet and finally releases this 40-page document. And it's on the same day that Xi Jinping arrives in San Francisco to meet with Biden and Newsom. And apparently they knew about this stuff before the meter maid or whoever found the hose going into the building. So it's a lot of stuff. And that's not the end of it. So this is from Max Bonilla. He's the only one I'm seeing reporting this, and he's a local kid out of here. I've had him on my show. Great kid, but so this is what he's reporting here. So he's saying, and it was reported earlier that this lab was apparently getting funding from California, but I'd never seen any connection from that. So this lab, he's this bombshell. Gavin Newsom gave $360,000 to the illegal Reedley Chinese lab for 4 years ago. 4 years ago, you guys. 4 years ago. Why wasn't this mentioned in the debate? Gavin Newsom literally put our national security at risk by funding the creation of new possible bioweapons. The mainstream media has been dead silent about the fact that on March 24th, 2019, the Governor Newsom Office of Business and Economic Development, a California competes tax credit allocation agreement of $360,000 was cemented with Universal Meditech Inc., California Globe. The Congressional Select Committee on China better do an investigation on this. Okay. So, and then he has the document linked here. So this is the document. Yeah, and it is the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. Yeah, there it is. So California Compete Tax Credit Allocation Agreement is between Universal Meditech Inc., the California corporation, taxpayer, and California's Governor Office of Business and Economic Development. So, okay. So there's his receipts, apparently. So this lab appears to be not only funded by California, but like directly by, like Newsom should have at least had eyes on this. It'll be hard for him to just skirt like, oh, no, I had nothing to do with this. Oopsie daisy. He was just a quinky dink. That's a lot, you guys. It's like not just the existence of the lab, the guy that's running it's on the run from Canada, getting like, I just reviewed the whole thing. This whole thing's freaking insane. Thanks, Josh. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, all right, you guys. I gotta let my dogs back in because I left my door open. It's freezing. So stand by for a second. I apologize again. Good job. Good job. Good job. Scarlett, chill out. Chill out. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My dog needed help up the stairs. Okay. And now Scarlett's all wound up. I apologize. Okay, Casey Martin. Yeah, it's pretty cold outside. Yeah, it's kind of cold. It's not too bad, though. Okay, so I guess, yeah, to recap, they find a biolab in Reedley, California, because the only reason they found it, well, I didn't even finish, actually. So this suggests that there could be more of these biolabs, doesn't it? They just happened to find it because nobody is looking for this thing. They just found a garden hose going into a random building. So, what does this suggest? I don't know. This should be an insanely huge story, and it's not, and that's even more suspicious. Everybody seems reluctant to even want to touch it at all. You guys, this is insane. It's absolutely insane. And remember, this was 4 years ago that Scarlett, go lay down right now. You're going to be in trouble. Sorry. It's my fault, guys. She's been acting up and it's my fault. I don't know what to do. This is insane. It's every day something comes out that should just blow everybody's brain. And every day something comes out that's just insane, should be wall-to-wall news coverage, and it's like people barely even notice it. And like, how is this not all over? Like, I don't see Fox News talking about this. I don't see anybody talking about this. This is insane to me. Yeah. So, and what's funny too is, so you got, this is from, James O'Keefe. And then the original thing that I showed was, like this congressional hearing that they did on it, I guess. And then, I got that thing from Max Bonilla. So you put those three things together, and it just it suggests a whole heck of a lot. It's not, you can't directly say that Newsom and the CCP are colluding to have these biolabs in China, but there's certainly evidence to suggest that, isn't there? Like, if the labs are getting funding directly from just the release of the 40-page document, yeah, that's absolutely coincidence, but just Xi Jinping's whole visit to San Francisco was super dystopian and weird, with how they pushed all the homeless and drug addicts out, just pushed them to the outskirts for a while, fenced off all the important areas that they're going to travel, and yeah, and then the timing of that with the document coming out, it's insane. It's just, I don't get it. Yeah, it's just insane. What's in German? Oh, it's your name's in German. Okay. I don't know how to, I wish I knew how to pronounce it phonetically. I would even try to do a German accent, but that's usually the only way I can pronounce names from other countries is if I try to do the accent from the other country. Like that's how I say Spanish words. That's why I don't like to talk in Spanish, because I sound like España. Yeah, it's not nice when I talk in Spanish. You guys wouldn't like it. Oh, it's your last name. Okay. Hobine. Is that it? Just Hobine? Oh, that's easy. Okay. Awesome. I like it. A-Corps. You missed my question. What about DC Court? What about DC Court? How do you feel about the DC Court district trying to say Trump can be sued for January 6th? I didn't even see that. It's not surprising at all. Nothing that they try to do to Trump is going to be surprising to me at all. Awesome. Hobine. I like it. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, no, I didn't even hear about that, but just they're going after Trump for loans that he paid back. They're trying to say he tried to defraud the loan company by overvaluing his property when he didn't, first of all, but everybody does that. And it's the job of the person giving the loan to verify income, verify assets, and all that kind of thing. It's not like this isn't a thing what they're going after him for right now. It's really madness what they're trying to go after him for. And then, that whole crazy lady that I don't know, all sorts of stuff. The PP tape, just all sorts of stuff. Casey Martin, Huerto. What is that? I don't know what that is either. Yeah, I don't know. Well, so yeah, the Reedley Lab thing. It's just, that's freaking bonkers to me. All right, I guess that's it. You guys go down the rabbit hole. Just look into it. Just California Biolab. Just, it's insane. Just watch that James O'Keefe video and read whatever articles you can find on it. But that's the gist of it. All right. There's plenty of California stuff. There's so many other things I want to talk to you guys about, and I'm trying to figure out what's the most important. But Newsom is the son of Satan, possibly. So, okay, yeah, I know. I have other. Yeah, there's the debates last night. I don't even really want to talk about that. It was such a nothing burger. I actually thought Newsom was going to destroy DeSantis just because Newsom's much more polished. Not that I agree with Newsom on anything, but from all the little clips I've seen, it looks like DeSantis pretty much ripped him apart. Newsom California is just indefensible. You can't defend this state, just the condition that it's in. This state's the perfect example of like, are you guys trying to actively destroy this place? San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Seattle, Portland, all these places, other cities that I haven't mentioned that I probably don't even know about. They're doing the same crap, but yeah, Newsom is super slick. He's really good at pulling. I talked about this last show. He's really good at pulling like BS numbers out of his butt that appear to support what he's saying, but they're usually just BS anyway. And as he's doing that, he spits off so many arguable points, like one after the other, after the other, after the other, like 10 in a row, that all of them are disprovable on their own. But it sounds like he's throwing out a bunch of stuff that's like, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. And it's just like, he makes it sound like California is doing so good. And then it's just like everybody goes outside and looks around, drives down the freeway, and sees next, under every underpass, you got tents and homeless and things catching on fire. And well, not to mention fires in California, like the 2020 fires. I went through those. They happened here in the Santa Cruz Mountain. It was because lack of forestry, like lack of getting rid of fuel in the forest. Just, we have lots of forests here in California, you guys, and redwood forests are super dense, like really densely. It's not like the sequoias, it's like much like those burn insanely too. Don't get me wrong, but just the amount of fuel in, more square miles, it's like if you compare it, there's just redwoods are much more dense, and when they go. It's just there's no putting out fires that are in a redwood canyon, and it was gnarly. So anyway, all right, I'm done talking about California, I think, but just Gavin Newsom's such a slick, just psychopath. Son of Satan's a good way to put it, I think. All right, let's go over the top stories really quick. Chauvin, you guys heard about Derek Chauvin? That's kind of crazy. So this is from Laura Loomer. But yeah, I didn't realize he got stabbed 22 times. How you get stabbed 22 times and not die? That's crazy. I said it earlier on a tweet, like the dude that stabbed him must have never watched Gangs in New York. If you watch Gangs in New York, it's like what's messed up is that scene that the butcher is showing Leonardo DiCaprio how to stab somebody. It's like if you stab somebody here and here, they're going to die. Like that's a kill. That's a kill. It's true. Like this punctures a lung, and this, I don't know, was it a kidney? I think it's a kidney, but it's not good. Anyway, yep. So this is what Laura Loomer says. So Justin, the inmate who stabbed Derek Chauvin 22 times in prison last week, has been identified by the U.S. Attorney's Office as 52-year-old John Tershak. Oddly enough, Tershak is an FBI informant. Coincidence? I don't think so. That's what Laura Loomer says. Seems like a coordinated effort to kill Chauvin. And, this is right after that documentary came out, too. So Tershak told investigators that he attacked Chauvin on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, as a symbolic connection to the Black Lives Matter movement and the black hand symbol associated with the Mexican mafia gang, prosecutors said. So, okay. Man, jeez. Yeah, this dude is getting done. They are certainly making an example of him, aren't they? He was also a BLM activist. Is that? Yeah, well, that's what it sounds like. Probably a small prison shiv. Yeah, I guess. Well, that is gnarly. 22 times, I don't know how you get it. Yeah, I don't know. Talk is cheap. I was like, if I would hope I could get the knife away from somebody before they stab me that many times. That's almost like you're just standing there and letting them stab you. It feels like, but I've never been in a real knife fight. But yeah, if you guys ever want to practice knife fighting, like no joke, with your friends, you guys out there want to practice knife fighting with your stupid friends, you can do it. I recommend wearing protective goggles. Don't use knives. use Sharpies. So one of the it was the second place I trained at, actually. It was USA Boxing and Karate in Hayward. Master Joe was a Filipino stick fighter and a knife fighter, a Screama. And like that was his gym, but they had an MMA class there, and that's what I was in. I was there for a while. Loved that place. Just grimy, super dingy old boxing gym, like just straight up old, beat to hell boxing gym. It was great. It was where Andre Ward trained back in the day. But every now and then after practice, Master Joe would be like, "Okay." And he would throw a Sharpies and he would just say, "A dot is a stab, a line is a slice." And, and we were just, it was like none of us knew what we were doing. But, if you know how to throw punches and kicks and stuff, it's, you could kind of figure out. And after it's getting poked in the eye with a Sharpie does not feel good, by the way. But it's if you get in a knife fight with somebody, I don't care how good you are, you're going to get cut. You're going to get cut if you get in a knife fight with somebody. So I do not recommend, if somebody pulls out a knife, do everything you can to not fight them. It's just, even if you have a knife, 21 foot rule for armed suspect. I did that test with my buddy Jason once, and it's absolutely true. We did 25 feet. That's what it was for me. Yeah, we did 25 feet, and but he didn't have a round chambered. He had to chamber a round. So I don't think that would be the case for somebody that, but adrenaline too. So you could freaking mag dump a guy and he could still be coming at you. So don't fight somebody with a knife ever. Just get as far away from them as you possibly can. And if they do start attacking you, try to use your legs and get them away. And this actually, I practice in my opinion, the most effective martial art is what I practice. And I practice a lot. You guys probably know what I'm going to say, because I practice it a lot every week. You guys haven't met me. Running. Yeah, running. Being able to run away far, faster than the person that's trying to kill you. Best martial art you can learn, guys. Being in good shape. That is the backbone of any martial art too. Just if you are in good shape, even black belts, they stop training and stop taking care of themselves. You still know stuff, but when you get winded in a fight, it sucks. Getting winded in a fight really sucks. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on all these tangents. Man, I really wanted to talk to you guys about all this Schellenberger stuff. Or all this, I talked about it last show, about the U.S. and UK intelligence deployed sophisticated psychological operations and dishonest tactics against the American people. Well, Whitney Webb says CTI League has access to critical American infrastructure, INCL nuclear reactors, dams, and hospitals, and is run by a career spy focused on blaming Iran for a cyber attack on the U.S. Isn't that just a biggest story, as if not bigger, or isn't that just as big of a story, if not bigger, as them censoring people online? And yeah, I would say that is. So CTI League, which I believe is like a non-government organization, like the Stanford Internet Project, I believe. You guys check me on that. So why, the person that made that, why would you have access to all that insane stuff? What is the color revolution? I've heard of that, and I should probably know what that is, but I don't. Oh yeah, thank you, A-Corbs. Yeah, if you guys are still watching, if you guys can hit that like button, it would be awesome. Especially if you're on Rumble. I am my like to watch ratio on Rumble is in the trash. So if you guys could give that Rumble like button a tap, that would be pretty awesome. Yeah, all right. I don't have time to get into, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to talk to you guys about, but yeah, the COVID stuff that came out today. Let's listen to Massie though. This was a clip I definitely wanted to show you guys. So here, hold on really quick. So this is more of the censorship stuff. But so Thomas Massie says government-funded organizations were flagging critical official accounts, including mine, to get posts censored on social media. If the government will attempt to censor a member of Congress communications to his constituents, the government will censor anyone, and they were. So I don't know if I have time to play this full clip, but yeah, the white lung stuff too. Yeah, A-Corps. 21 people. Okay, thanks, A-Corps. Color Revolution. Yeah, Casey Martin. What is the Color Revolution? Now I want to know what that is. But yeah, the white lung stuff too, guys. Yeah, they're trying to pull the whole. It's like the exact same time that COVID came out 4 years ago. Isn't that crazy? That was 4 years ago, you guys. That's freaking bonkers. Does not seem like that was 4 years ago, but it sure freaking was. Yeah, so it's the exact same time. They're trying to pull this crap again. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, let's listen to Massie talk for a little bit here, because again, like, stuff coming out that should be like wall-to-wall media coverage if the news was honest. If stuff that's insane comes out every single day, so the Wrigley lab leak, insane, should be wall-to-wall news coverage. The Twitter files should have been wall-to-wall crazy news coverage. Now this stuff that's coming out about UK governments doing this, just listen to Massie talk for a little bit.
I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky for 5 minutes.
Thank the chairman. Ms. Troy, you stated in your opening statement that this committee was indulging in fantasy detached from reality, that members of this committee and their witnesses make grand and vague accusations about government censorship, and that we are spreading conspiracy theories about government censorship. Would one of those conspiracy theories be that government-funded agencies were flagging and trying to censor official congressional accounts on social media? Are you denying that that occurred?
I would have no knowledge of that. I'm not aware of that happening.
Well, we're going to make you aware of that right now. Mr. Schellenberger.
I'm sorry. Was that as funny to you guys as it was to me? He just I love Massie, but that was sort of adorable. It wasn't we're gonna make you aware of it right now. I don't know. It was adorable.
Can you speak to this tweet? I saw that you flagged this in one of your recent articles on Substack. Can you tell us why this tweet brought attention in your article?
Yeah, because that was one of the tweets that that the Virality Project at Stanford Institute Internet Observatory had flagged to Twitter as misinformation.
So here, and I'll read you guys the tweet. So this is the tweet they flagged. Here's a comprehensive study that tracked reinfections and COVID complications for 187,549 people with prior SARS-CoV-2 infection. Conclusion: effectiveness of immunity due to prior infection is the same as for the Pfizer vaccine. And this is from 5/29/21. So, and he's got the study linked, so they're saying it's misinformation. Like, he's showing a study, and this is a congressman talk again. This is his official account. This isn't some personal account. This is his official government account talking to his constituents. That's insane. That's insane. So, and it was flagged by this the Stanford Virality Project, or whatever Schellenberger just said. I'll go back a little bit. Schellenberger's awesome. Thank you for telling me what the color revolution is, by the way, Casey Martin.
And that I believe it was labeled or censored in some other way.
So it was the Stanford Virality Project. That is funded by the government, is it not?
Yes, it is.
And so their purpose, ostensibly, is to stop misinformation, malinformation, and to flag things they say that might be against the terms of service of the social media companies. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Ms. Troy, is there any reason you think that this should have been flagged?
Depends on whether you're spreading inaccurate information.
Well, it references a study
Seem to
from
do that
Israel, a
often.
published study.
You see how she said that too, with the little smirk on her face? Like, you see the smirk on her face right here? The audacity of her to be able to say, well, it depends on if you were spreading misinformation or not. No, lady, you can see what I said right here. I'm showing a study. You know what my account is. You know who I am. I'm talking to my constituents. That she has this, it's this elitism that she has. This is Silicon Tech elitism, that they feel like they live in this micro bubble that I don't know why, but they think the entire world should live under their ideals and what they think is the proper way to think, what to think. It's they define misinformation as things that are true, just that they don't like. Again, the smirk. It's not up to her to say if it's misinformation or not. It's up to his constituents. That's the whole point. Open dialogue. He's saying, hey, look at this study, you guys. And he's just trying to show it to the people that voted for him, or not even the people that voted for him, the people that are in his district. He said, hey, this is what I'm seeing, you guys. You guys should look at it. Who are you? It's insane that she thinks that she has the authority to do that. Like, the audacity of these people is bonkers. And that's this Silicon Valley tech elitism.
Well, it references a study
Seem to
from
do that
Israel, a
often.
published study from Israel, and the tweet just restates the title of the study. Does it
Up to the
trouble
social
you
media
that,
companies to review their policies? It's an internal choice.
yeah, are you going to sit here and maintain that it's a conspiracy theory that this occurred? We have the documents. Mr. Schellenberger has the documents that showed that this occurred.
Well, then it was flagged for a reason.
What's the reason? Is there ever a good reason to censor a member of Congress? This is my official account. This is not a personal account. This is not a campaign account. This is my communication with my constituents. By the way, I bring this up not to claim that members of Congress have more right to free speech than the general public. In fact, I don't even think the press or the media has more rights to the First Amendment than the general public. The general public has the same rights that we have. And I bring this up to show, number one, that your testimony is false. But number two, if they can do this to a member of Congress's official account, they can do it to anybody. Now I want to move on to the origins of these programs. Mr. Schellenberger, can you tell us about the Cyber Threat Intelligence League? Was this just a group of vigilantes, concerned citizens, or was it in any way?
So I believe this is the organization that Whitney Webb was talking about earlier, where she said that they have access to like key infrastructure within the United States, and like the head guy is hell-bent on Iran. I don't know. We'll read Whitney Webb's tweet again after this.
Connected to the government, and what did they endeavor to do?
Yeah, this was so. First of all, it's a pretty ludicrous founding, which was that this is a group of, it was Israeli, so-called former Israeli intelligence, former British intelligence, also working at Microsoft, and others who basically said, we're going to volunteer our services. These are some of the world's greatest so-called cybersecurity professionals, volunteering their services to multi-billion-dollar hospital and healthcare organizations whose own IT organizations spend millions of dollars a year on cybersecurity, supposedly volunteering this. This was the premise of the whole thing. It then created this third part that I mentioned. They had physical security, cybersecurity, they added cognitive security, and the people that did that were 2 UK and US military contractors. This was one of the most sophisticated disinformation operations that I've ever seen. I've been involved in progressive causes for over 30 years. I've never seen anything so organized.
And again, this was all specifically to push the COVID narrative and the vaccine narrative. Remember how it was, everybody seems, I know everybody wants to like move on from COVID and everything, but we, again, back to the things that should be breaking everybody's freaking brains. Why was it so insanely important for them, for everyone to take this vaccine? It wasn't for people's health. We know this. They knew it. They knew that it wasn't going to stop transmission. They knew the risks of COVID itself. You know, I was running earlier. I have a lot of really good thoughts when I run, and I can't write them down, but I actually am going back to this one right now. But the risks of COVID to us now, how much less dangerous is COVID now than it was 2.5 years ago? Like, if we had to really measure, is it half as dangerous? Is it 1/10 as dangerous? Like, how much less dangerous is COVID now than it was two years ago? And once you establish that, well, like, okay, how much safer are we now? I'm just willing to bet that we're not on the scale of how safe, like me particularly, being when COVID first started, a 37-year-old male ultra runner, that I'm in good physical health. It was very small to me. Now, you know, being a little older, the risk is probably about the same. But everybody's behaving differently, aren't they? What changed? Like, the risk of COVID is still right around as dangerous as it was, if you ask me, because it's, you know, numbers wise. Well, no, it's only 10% as dangerous as it was before. And it's like, well, it wasn't that dangerous in the first place. It really wasn't. People say millions of people died with COVID. Anyway, all that stuff. But all of this was to push a COVID narrative. Why was it so important to them, guys? Why was it so important? I don't think we found that out yet.
Anything that was so focused on a particular goal and that had so many people that came from military and intelligence organizations. It gave me the creeps just reading about it.
And in the documents, is it true that they used their agency seals, FBI, CISA, when they were communicating with each other?
That's right, and the whistleblower provided screenshots of Slack conversations that included officials from DHS, Facebook, and the CTIL League. So it would be hard for somebody to claim that these folks weren't agents of the government or acting in coordination with the government or using things that they learned in their government. Were some of them still employed by the U.S. government when they were undertaking this? Yes, Pablo Brewer was working for the U.S. Navy at the time, and many of the others were claiming to be volunteering their time even while working their day jobs for the government. I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
So they knew what they were doing was not above board. That's why they really went out of their way. All these different, there's no way these guys are volunteering for anything, but all these heads of intelligence agencies banded together to push a COVID narrative. The intelligence agencies, first of all, they're not allowed to do that, you guys. They're not allowed to control speech. The government, all of this is insane and it should be breaking people's brains, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. All right. I think that's all I got for tonight, you guys. That's breaking my brain. Just breaking my brain. B Sizzo. Fight or flight response when you can't do either is a bad place to be. Are we talking about the knife thing? Yeah, I agree if that's what you're talking about there. Acor, or wait, let's see. Let me go back a little bit. Yes. Sorry, I got to go back a little. Whoa. Sorry, I missed a whole bunch here, didn't I? Okay, I think you guys might be talking amongst yourselves, but all right. Sorry, I can't figure out where I'm at here in the chat. But I think that's all I got for this evening. But so much that it's like every story that I touch, even the little stories are still like a pretty big deal. But there's so much other stuff that I didn't even get to that I probably won't get to, but yeah. Acorns. I don't know what else. Well, there's all sorts of other stuff, but dude, it has been a long one today. Yeah, there's all sorts of other stuff. A lot of the censorship stuff. Stuff out of Canada. Actually, here, I want to show you guys. All right, something really quick that happened in Canada. Oh, wait. I should probably go to my Canada folder. This was pretty crazy. So we had like a foundation wall failure. Did you guys see this one? This is a major thing out of Canada here. Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm not even sharing my screen. Stand by. So, all right. Let's see. All right. I'll just talk about these two quick Canada stories really quick. So this is just, I saw this earlier today. I don't know how to pronounce this city. Coquitlam. So this is like this major foundation wall. It almost looks like a seawall, but it's like this huge foundation wall, and they're building a giant structure on top of it. If you guys can see this, and you guys see the crack down here. Well, this gets bigger.
Holy
Coquitlam. Awesome. Thanks, A-Corps.
shit. Here it comes. Yeah. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Here she goes. Holy fuck.
All right, hey, you guys, if you're ever on a job site and some colossal giant catastrophe happens, don't be the guy that yells "Holy F" 3 times and then goes "Hoo!" after it happens. Don't be that guy. Your boss isn't going to be that stoked. But look at this. This is massive. So this is so 1, 2. Well, here, wait. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is like 5 stories high here. So we're like 4 stories high at the top of this. This is like two stories, a hole. It's like 2 stories high. Crazy. Yeah, so that's not good, guys. So this giant wall is here, right? So they fill it all with material, pack it down, and then they build this structure that's back here. They need this wall, so far out from it, so they have essentially enough material to keep like their foundational enough material outside of their foundation, so their foundation is a foundation. Like all this material disappearing is getting closer and closer to these pylons that go however far down into the earth. So this is not good. Yes, suboptimal, Casey Martin. Yeah, not good at all. Coquitlam. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, there's one more quick story out of Canada. Sorry, my dog's drinking water. Jeez, she's the worst. Chiva. That was a while ago. You guys saw the cop that did the pit maneuver on the tractor up in Canada? This was a while back. It's like, actually, it was only like last week, but did you guys see this one? Jesus. Wow. He's freaking hitting the cop car. Holy shit. Jesus. You guys remember? Let's see. Yeah, you could hear the dog drinking water. So annoying. You guys remember why COVID stopped, right? How it ended? Because of the Canadian truckers. That's why it ended. That's when things started. The Canadian truckers ended COVID. Oh yeah. So I just saw this. I thought it was interesting. So my boyfriend tried to send an Instagram video of an Irish girl reading a poem about friendship to her friend in Canada who received this warning and was not allowed to view it. Or was not allowed to view the video. After a legal and human rights assessment, they restricted access to the content where it goes against local law. It's literally just an Irish girl reading a poem about friendship. This is the Orwellian level things that are happening in Canada. And it illustrates just how easy it is to digitally isolate whole nations of people from the rest of the world. So, yeah, it was just a poem. It was like nothing. And even if it was misinformation or disinformation, who is the government to say what information you have access to? You should have access to the false information too. It's who is the government to determine what is true and what is false? If you leave it up to the government to tell you what is true and what is false, the government is going to lie to you with impunity. They already do. Anyway, all right. You know what? Yep, that is all I got, folks. That is all I got for the evening. It's I'll be back on Sunday, and I'll probably do a special type of episode on Sunday. So I got my 100th episode coming up pretty soon. Isn't that crazy? Tonight's 89. It's crazy. Can't believe it's been almost 100 episodes already. So that will be coming up in about 2 weeks, and he said yes. So I might as well say so. Yeah, I should be having Jake Shields coming on. So that should be pretty cool for my 100th episode. So I might have to do it at a weird time or work it around his schedule because it's just nice of him even agreeing to do this. And I think the only reason he's agreeing to do it is because I'm an old San Jose. He's a San Jose guy. And yeah, so all right. So yeah, that should be an interesting talk. Try to be the 100th episode. I talked to somebody that knows Schellenberger. I don't know if he'll ever have time. I'll end up running into Schellenberger at some point. And yeah, I'd love to have him on my show. If I get on the ballot, I'm going to start trying to get on other shows. And because that's going to be my campaign strategy is just internet. I even want to reach out to Elon and be like, hey, why don't I take this a whole different direction? I mean, you have the same old thing every single election cycle where everybody runs the same style campaign. They do it the same way. They do the whole, certain things have to be done a certain way, like the bank account, the website and all that. But we're in a new age, and Elon has Grok now, and I have tons of stuff on my Twitter account that, like, I have a lot of writings on there that if people read, they would be able to see sort of where I'm coming from. So yeah, like, I don't know, thinking about trying to take this a whole different direction. So all right. Hey, Corbs, I wouldn't say that, man. I wouldn't say that at all. So, he's Jake Shields is one of the most accomplished martial artists from around this area, and the Bay Area has some big name fighters coming out. He's a high level jiu-jitsu black belt and excellent striker. You know, he's retired now, but yeah, he's a high level fighter, and he's just an all around good dude. And yeah, I asked him to come on the show before any of the Israel-Palestine stuff had even happened. And yeah, so yeah, and he is obviously he is very pro the Palestinian side on this. And yeah, we'll definitely have some stuff to talk about that. But I got nothing but respect for Jake, and he's taking a ton of heat for his stances, and it takes a lot of balls to go against everyone right now. I'll tell you this, that assembly bill or that House resolution or whatever that they just passed, that it didn't even make any sense. Like, why do you need a resolution to even state the stuff that they stated in that resolution? But notice how everybody voted for it unanimously, except for Massie. He's the only one that stood out. When you got everybody from both sides of the aisle all voting yes, should immediately be suspect of whatever they're voting for. The only time everybody is together on something when they vote towards it is war and giving themselves raises. It's the only time they ever agree. So them agreeing, yeah. So that's sort of my 2 cents on the whole stuff. Yeah, Massie is the man. B says, in regards to Jake Shields, the society that separates its scholars from its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools. Yeah, that's he was a Spartan, right? I think. I can't remember. A-Corps. Yeah, I know. The squad voted for it. Massie said no, and Ilhan Omar, she didn't vote for it. She said present. She just didn't vote. But like, that's pathetic, isn't it? Like, Ilhan Omar of all people should have been the one person that voted no on that thing. And yeah, the whole thing sucks to me. I've sure learned a lot in the last month and a half. A lot. I've gone very far down rabbit holes, and I'm going to do a lot more learning before Jake comes on. So, yeah, I'd love to have like Dave Smith. Dave Smith is the ultimate that I would love to talk to about this. Michael Malice, obviously. Like these, Clint Russell. Like, yeah. Freaking Spike. I'd love to have Spike back on to talk about this. Spike Cohen. Yeah, all sorts of guys that I really highly respect that I would just love to hear their take on it, because when you learn the history, just it sort of sheds a whole new light on the entire situation. So yeah, Dave Smith is freaking rad. All right, that is it. I'm actually getting out of here, guys. Really am this time. So, A-Chords. Hobine? Is that how you said it? Hobine? I think that's how you said it. Tell me if I got it right. A-Corps, Casey Martin, Terry Wallace. Let's see. Rochelle. Got everybody. Northside. All right, I think that's everybody over on Rumble. B says, you're the lone guy over on YouTube tonight. I know. YouTube, I don't get any help over there on YouTube. All right, folks. That is all I got for the evening. But you know how we do. You guys, I almost lost it. All right. Before we get out of here, I got to tell a joke from the greatest book ever written. It's Truth about Chuck Norris. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. Actually, I pre-screened this one, and it made me giggle, so it's pretty good. All right, folks, that's all I got. I hope everybody had a good evening. I will see you again Sunday. But before we go, here is the Chuck Norris joke for the evening. Instead of having a cigarette after sex, Chuck Norris heads outside and brands his cattle. And on that note, stay CaliBased.